Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Amit. On this channel, I talk about stocks, investing, finance, and I also have $25,000 invested into Palantir. So I cover Palantir. I think we need to make that a meme for all my new subscribers on this channel. We're only at 42 subscribers. Just really started taking the channel seriously and going all in. $25,000 into Palantir. I feel like every video I do about Palantir, I should start off by saying, did you know I have $25,000? I have half of 100,000 or 1/4 of 100,000 invested into Palantir. Can we make that a meme? I feel like that's a good meme to start off every Palantir video, so you know how seriously I take my coverage on Palantir. Okay, anyway, I want to cover a really quick topic today on today's video. Now, this is old news, but I think this news is still really important, especially for people who missed it or didn't really understand the significance of what this news could be. Now, Palantir has partnered with Alix Partners, A-L-I-X Partners, and Alix Partners is a global consulting firm. Palantir is a global data analytics and artificial intelligence company. Quote from the press release: "In today's highly disrupted business environment, every industry is at an inflection point. The companies that will endure and ultimately thrive will be those that successfully leverage data to power their sales, operations, customer experience, and organizations." That's what Palantir does, for people who are confused. They use data to leverage all the key business decision-making opportunities that lead to efficiency and effective outcomes. Palantir's platform is best in class, and together we have created a strategic opportunity to help our clients accelerate talk and analysis into action, says Alix Partners CEO Simon Freakley. Last name is Freakley. That's an interesting last name, sir. Anyway, why does this matter, right? Why is this important for Palantir, and why is it important to kind of talk about? My hair is a mess today, but that's okay. Look, the reason this is so important is because, first of all, it's very important to understand what a consulting firm is. What does a consulting firm do? A consulting firm makes sure that they solve problems for their clients, and their clients usually have problems that range from a variety of mechanisms, whether that's marketing, advertising, brand building, sales, operational efficiency, strategic decision making, whatever it may be. Consultants end up getting paid. I know a lot of consultants just because, I went to school with a bunch of kids in business school, and their dream job was like to be a consultant, and I never understood why, because it's honestly an extremely boring job. But consultants end up getting paid on average like $70,000 to maybe $100,000 if you get a nice bonus or something like that. And that's also if you work at a good firm like Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, all these types of firms. And what they do is they're usually on a task. So the consulting firm will have a client, and that client, let's say Accenture, right, Global 500 consulting firm, really works with elite clients. Coca-Cola comes up to, Accenture and says, hey, we want to grow by 30% next year, and we see opportunities in South Asia that are untapped, and we need to come up with a marketing strategy and a marketing plan, or a go-to-market penetration strategy for this new drink that we have coming out in South Asia. And we don't want to worry about building that plan or that idea, right? We have other things to do in our company. So can you guys build that plan? Can you guys kind of figure it out? So Accenture will be like, all right, we're going to charge you like, $2-3 million a month and come up with a solution. Coca-Cola is like, you know what? We'd rather pay these $2-3 million versus go deal with it ourselves. So we're just going to go give it to these fancy consultants, and they're going to be able to solve a problem and come up with a solution. And then the consultants get a couple months, and they make a PowerPoint deck, and they present it to the company. And that's how the exchange of value is provided. That's why being a consultant is like, most people don't do it for more 2-3 years because it's boring. Like, all you do is like, you're working on PowerPoints all day. It's not that interesting. Nonetheless, Alix Partners is one of the biggest global consulting firms, right? Palantir, and this is really important to understand, a lot of people think of them as a consulting company, right? Which is that they're offering strategic decision advice. And that's not what they're doing. They are offering a software that creates the decision-making paradigm, kind of like replacing the consultant to some extent. Now, you're not replacing the whole consulting process, but if that software can do the consulting for you, and it can solve multi-million-dollar decisions that you have, and you can pay that software and integrate it throughout the entirety of your organization, then there's a much better chance that that software, gets the job done in a meaningful way. So this is a really important partnership because it's going to focus on the most pressing and complex issues impacting shared clients, as being read from this press release. Palantir has Foundry, right, which is their flagship AI software, and Alix Partners has Experts, is what this calls them, which is just hilarious. The partnership will help their shared clients as they innovate next-generation software-based businesses models on top of their core operating businesses. I'm going to get to that in a second. Navigate critical disruptions in their businesses, including supply chain breakages, consumer behavior shifts, unanticipated business outages, etc., and develop fundamentally new ways of interacting with new customers and employees. So let's break that down. What does that mean? Number one, innovate next generation software business models on top of their core operating business models. This is where companies that used to rely on certain streams of revenue, whether it's direct to consumer, maybe they did it through advertising, are now building different types of software offerings on top of their business so that they can add more value to the company. So you think of something like Netflix. Netflix has a pretty basic business model, right? You pay $10 a month or $16 a month and you get the content. But they've recently added Netflix gaming, right? What does Netflix gaming mean? Are they going to start creating their own games? I mean, you think of Squid Game. Netflix created a hit sensation that probably got more views and eyeballs than most movies did that came out in 2020. What if Netflix was to create the next Fortnite and you were able to play it through Netflix as they integrated with the PlayStation 5 or the computer? Like, there are so many different ways companies can offer new advantages on top of their business models to go to market and to penetrate different markets. So Alix Partners is usually one of those companies that a Netflix would consult with to try to figure out if this makes sense. That plus the foundry, right? So if Palantir can come and bring their data to Netflix and integrate it into their system and then figure out what are the best ways you would create a game that could rival something like Fortnite, that's pretty powerful, especially when both of them are working together, right? So that's an example of what innovate next generation software means. Number two, navigate critical disruptions in their businesses. So supply chain problems, right? We saw this all in 2021 because we're obviously having a major semiconductor chip problem, and a lot of businesses, and pretty much all businesses, I think the biggest ones like Apple, need chips, and cars need semiconductors and chips in computers and in laptops and in cars, which is why the used car price market is going up so much, because regular cars are more scarce because there's not as much chips, so there's not as much supply, which means demand is going to drive the price higher. That means that these supply chain outages are going to be rampant in a variety of different mechanisms over the next 10, 20, 30 years. There's going to be a lot of different things that happen. If it's not supply chain, it's going to be something else, because the world is, crazy stuff happens. COVID happened, and that led to Palantir being able to innovate in a lot of different ways to give strategic decision-making paradigms to governments that had to deal with those types of problems, especially when it came to supply chain. That stuff is going to be there for a long time, right? These problems are going to happen for a long time, especially in the new global competitive markets and how the economy is ultimately going, which means Palantir has a business model that is going to be acceptable in all of these different areas, which is super important. And the Alix partner clientele base, which paid Alix partners millions of dollars per year, is going to take their advice very seriously if they recommend Foundry and Palantir as a software in order for them to be able to use that. And then 3, develop fundamentally new ways of interacting with customers and employees. I mean, this is one of the biggest problems that is going to happen over the next 10, 20 years, which is where are customers and employees, consumers, and attention going, right? Where are people's attention? Right now, it's on YouTube, it's in podcasting, it's on Instagram. 20 years from now, that might not be the case. And if that's not the case, how are companies going to be able to get customers? How are they going to be able to actually effectively understand the decisions they need to create, leveraging the data they have on the customers they have or they're trying to get in order to grow the company? These are all use cases that every company is going to have problems with over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And if there is a software that is first in class that can solve that problem, like Palantir, I think that means there is a huge opportunity there for Palantir to grow. The final thing I want to say about this is, consulting firms are interesting because consulting firms essentially they partner and they have clients and they offer clients strategic guidance. You can imagine Palantir partnering with a lot of different consulting firms. I mean, forget Alix Partners. There's other even bigger consulting firms out there that their job is to give strategic advice. And if the strategic advice is integrate Palantir Foundry into your company, then those consulting firms are going to recommend this software. That software is going to be implemented. The consultants are going to get paid for recommending the software. The software company, Palantir, is going to get paid for actually providing the service. And then companies are going to be able to leverage their software and become sticky clients. I also made a video on why Palantir is a very sticky business model. You should check it out. It's linked in the description. Which means if that's the case, I mean, you have a global opportunity over the next 5-6 years for Palantir to really, really expand with a lot of other consulting firms and create those business development connections that are oh so coveted. And be able to really monetize on the backs of that. So yeah, I know this is a little bit old news. Alix Partners and Palantir have formed a partnership. I do think it is really good news. I wanted to give my take on it, my analyzation of it. Obviously, I own $25,000 of the company, meme. So I am very, I am very interested in these types of partnerships and press releases that go on. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my channel. Please subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it as a new channel looking to gain more coverage. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.